Movies have given us some of our most favorite pairs, couples, and friend groups. The happiness and chemistry actors portray is so believable, it may shock you to hear that it's pretty common that not everyone gets along once the cameras aren't rolling. Between petty arguments and catfights to full-blown temper tantrums, these co-star relationships are sometimes the furthest thing from their portrayal of the character. Welcome to Movie Secrets, and today we will delve into the top 10 movie co-stars that actually hated each other. Warning, major drama and shade ahead. Number 10. Jennifer Grey and Patrick Swayze. Dirty Dancing is one of the most popular movies of all time. With a lively musical numbers, choreography, and star-studded cast, it was destined to be a hit. But the two co-stars all but enjoyed each other's presence. Jennifer Grey and Patrick Swayze already disliked each other when filming Red Dawn, but their animosity grew even more on the set of the 1987 flick. They both allegedly couldn't stand each other, making work with one another very irritating. In Swayze's memoir, he wrote that she would slip into moods, forcing everyone to do scenes again and again. Grey would even fall into fits of crying if someone were to criticize her. This ongoing tension was hard to work with, making the filming for these co-stars something far from having the time of their lives. Number 9. Joanne Crawford and Bette Davis. Hollywood legends Joanne Crawford and Bette Davis were the beginnings of catfights and diva drama in pop culture. According to rumor, their feud lasted for nearly 30 years. Things exploded between the two while filming the 1962 film Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Davis kicked Crawford in the head, an injury that required 3 stitches. There was name-calling, arguments, and fights continued throughout the filming.
Ow! God damn!
And when Bette Davis was asked about her experience working in the movie, she replied with, "The best time I ever had with Joanne Crawford was when I pushed her down the stairs in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane." Yikes. Number 8. Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams. When you think love story, you're bound to think of the popular 2004 film, The Notebook. Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams' characters were and still are the epitome of modern-day romance. But Gosling stated that while filming, the off-camera relationship between the two co-stars was anything but romantic. According to the director Nick Cassavetes, McAdams got on Gosling's nerves so much to the point where he begged to read lines with someone else. The two co-stars had differing views on acting, and it spilled over into their relationship on set.
Now I hate you, you
Well, I hate
bastard!
you. If you leave here, I hate you.
Thankfully, after a bit of screaming, yelling, and a much-needed sit-down between the two, Ryan and Rachel worked things out and built a mutual respect, and the filming went on smoothly. Number 7. Angelina Jolie and Johnny Depp. Hollywood loves the talented actors Angelina Jolie and Johnny Depp, and although nowadays they can be seen as good friends, helping one another out, these feelings are not deeply rooted. When they first worked on the 2010 romantic thriller The Tourist, they started out on rocky waters.
I think you're right.
Really?
Jolie was reportedly upset on Depp's appearance, saying that he should have cut his hair and gotten into shape for the role. Johnny Depp hid out in his trailer due to this, claiming that she was way too full of herself. This was not the best introduction for the two, but the actors have since moved on and have developed a better rapport for each other overall. Number 6. Ashley Tisdale and Lucas Grabeel. The hit Disney Channel original movie High School Musical gave us one of our favorite sibling duos, Sharpay and Ryan Evans. The two were portrayed by none other than the talented Ashley Tisdale and Lucas Grabeel. The characters in the film were remembered for being the relative villains, always competing for the spotlight and the lead roles side by side. However, in a recent sing-along reunion, Tisdale revealed that the two on-screen siblings actually hated each other when the cameras were not rolling. She confessed, "All I remember is we were not close and we were not good friends."
We were not close. We were not good friends, let's be honest, okay?
They both felt like she was becoming the characters, as she would do things like read him lines, and this created major tension. Nowadays, the two High School Musical alumni are far closer though, and have even grown to the point where they're returning to sing duets together.
With no one to hold, but you were always there beside me.
Number 5. Channing Tatum and Alex Pettyfer. Channing Tatum and Alex Pettyfer were paired up in Magic Mike to be somewhat of a mentor-mentee relationship. This, however, was not how things operated when the cameras weren't rolling. Pettyfer stated that during this time he was reclusive and in a negative headspace. He would not speak to anyone and just hid out in his trailer listening to music due to his own insecurities. To Tatum, this read as stuck up and rude, and he made him pay for it. After the filming ended, Pettyfer had been renting an apartment from a friend of Tatum's in New York City. Shortly after, he moved out claiming there was mold, and that made it hard for him to breathe, and he skipped out on paying 4 months of back rent. In response, Channing began sending nasty emails and demanding Alex to pay his rent to his landlord. Things took a turn from the worse there, and the two never really recovered. And this may or may not explain why Pettyfer wasn't asked to be back in the Magic Mike sequel. Number 4. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Tyrese Gibson. The box office hit franchise Fast and the Furious is known for action-packed scenes, ridiculously cool cars, and in the words of Vin Diesel, family. You may think a family that rides together and creates 14 movies together would be pretty close, but think again. Co-stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Tyrese Gibson started to unravel while filming Fast and the Furious 6. Made to the final edit is a clip of what we now know is an improvised scene where Luke Hobbs and Roman Pierce take some pretty nasty jabs at one another. With the now pretty obvious tension between the two, the addition of Hobbs and Shaw's spin-off announcement pushed Tyrese to the edge. His public meltdown in social media called The Rock money-hungry and making the Fast and Furious franchise all about himself and his character. Of course, apologies were eventually made and there were claims that the drama and feud are over, but no one will forget the moment that the Fast and Furious family almost fell apart. Number 3. Tony Curtis and Marilyn Monroe. The classic film Some Like It Hot premiered in 1959, and despite the characters having a romantic on-screen relationship, the legendary actors Tony Curtis and Marilyn Monroe were far from even friends in real life. On the set of the movie, Curtis stated that when asked how kissing Marilyn Monroe was, that it was like kissing Hitler. He continued, saying that it was awful as she nearly choked him to death with her tongue. This would be a pretty bad statement to hear about any actress, but at the time, Monroe was considered one of the most desirable women in the world. Their unpleasant relationship was quite odd to hear about in the press at the time, and even more so now as we learn about the real ins and outs of old Hollywood. Number 2. Anthony Daniels and Kenny Baker. Not all best friends have to be human. Some are droids, and R2-D2 and C-3PO have been showing us best friend goals since the first Star Wars film premiered in 1977.
They shut down the main reactor. We'll be destroyed for sure.
They are two of the very first few characters to have appeared in the original and in the prequels. However, actors Anthony Daniels and Kenny Baker were not friends at all during filming, especially during the first film. With a combination of the 105-degree suits and the condescending attitudes, Baker and Daniels despised each other throughout the filming process. Baker, in an interview, claimed that Daniel degraded him over his size and made him feel small. He goes on to discuss how, due to the clunky suits, there wasn't much interaction, and they rarely talked during the creation of the movies. And it's quite heartbreaking to hear that such an iconic friendship doesn't quite translate to real life with these two beloved co-stars. Number 1. Bill Murray and Lucy Liu. If you've ever wanted to know why Bernie Mac replaced Bill Murray in the movies Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, then listen up, because a certain angel was involved. On the set of the hit movie, Lucy Liu and Bill Murray's relationship went into full-on tension when he claimed she couldn't act in front of everyone. This boiled over into a big fight when, as they were filming, Murray completely stopped a scene to exclaim, pointing at the actresses Drew Barrymore and Cameron Diaz and Lucy Liu, saying, "I get why you're here and you've got talent, but what the hell are you doing here? You can't act." This infuriated co-star Liu, and she attacked him. Literally. According to one source, Lucy started to throw punches left and right at Murray, and they had to be separated into separate corners to cool off. Now, this is just a rumor and hasn't been proven. However, this altercation is just a hint at their tense past relationship. Don't mess with Charlie's Angels, Bill. Well, that just about wraps it up for this top 10 list. How do you think we did? Do you know 2 co-stars who have bad blood? Be sure to leave a comment about it below. To see one of our most recent videos, click here. We are posting new content all the time, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any more movie secrets.